afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Ryabichenko, and I will present to you a topic: value similarity with mothers, peers, and psychological closeness with mothers as predictors of well-being of Russian youth in Latvia. We started from the concept of cultural transmission, which includes a wide range of interaction models between individuals belonging to different generations within a family and within a society as a whole. In case of acculturation, cultural transmission has two additional sources of influence. They are adult members of a larger or national society and peers from a larger society. So transmission is not only between one ethnic group members, and we have transmission between other groups members. The model of transmission is here. Here is a situation of a case of acculturation. For our study, we used in the model similarity of values with parents, similarity of values with own group peers, and similarity in values from national peers. But we will not talk about the transmission process. Our question was, does value similarity related to well-being of the children or of late adolescents? A ground for our study we have found from previous studies, because value congruence of an individual and prevailing value environment may contribute to subjective well-being of the individual, and positive relationships were found between adolescents' value congruence with peers and their life satisfaction. And even if adolescents do not interact directly with each other, their value congruence might contribute to their life satisfaction. Our question was, for ethnic minority members, what will be the sources of their well-being and life satisfaction and self-esteem? And we proposed that one of the sources is family, and perceived psychological closeness with the mother positively related to psychological well-being of an adolescent. Value similarity of adolescents with peers positively related to their psychological well-being, and mother-child value similarity positively related to psychological well-being of children. The tested model is here. As indicators of psychological well-being, we used life satisfaction and self-esteem. For our study, we chose Latvia and Russian ethnic minority in this country, because Russians are the largest ethnic minority, but after Latvia regained independence, some of the problems for Russians and for the whole society arise. The first one is citizenship policy in this country, because nowadays only about 62% of Russians are citizens of Latvia. And the next problem is Russian language usage, because in the era of USSR there were two official languages, Russian and Latvian, and now only Latvian is an official language. And even the 60-40 law was passed stipulating that 60% of instruction at schools with the Russian language of instruction must take place in Latvian. This law was perceived by majority of Russians as pushing to assimilation. Our participants were representatives of two generations of the same family in Russian families, 107 mothers and their children, and for comparison we used data from the sample of ethnic Latvian youth. As measures we used Schwartz values. Values were measured by 57 items. Perceived psychological closeness was measured by the item, please rate the extent of your psychological closeness with the people listed below on a 5-point scale from 1 to 5. We used 4 items from Rosenberg's self-esteem scale and 4 items from satisfaction with life scale. And we added demographic variables in our questionnaire. For data processing, we used PAC analysis separately with Russian peers and ethnic Latvian peers. And for similarity scores, we used these formulas. And the results are here. In this table you can see means and standard deviations of values and absolute value similarity scores. As you can see, there are no differences between mothers and children, only in self-transcendence values. And for these values, we have no differences between Russians and Latvians. The next table shows regression coefficients from our models, and the main finding was that in all cases perceived psychological closeness was positively related to well-being of adolescents, but only for value similarity in self-enhancement values with Russian peers we found significant relationship with well-being of adolescents. Conclusions. Our first hypothesis was confirmed, and we can conclude that positive psychological climate within a family is a strong predictor of well-being of Russian youth in Latvia. However, mother-child value similarity was not positively related to psychological well-being as we expected, so this hypothesis was not confirmed. We think it might be due to minority status of Russians in Latvia and the existence of the differences between socialization and own values of mothers. And our third hypothesis was confirmed only for similarity in self-enhancement values with Russian peers. It might be due to cultural differences between Latvians and Russians, or a sign of problems with mutual adaptation of Latvians and Russians. Or maybe value system it was due that value system of youth is more sensitive to societal change, as Tulviste and colleagues found. Because the school reform in Latvia in a great extent separated Latvians and Russians. Limitations and future directions. We used a relatively small sample size in our study. We have not compared our results with native Latvian families, and the roles of fathers were neglected. Nevertheless, these gaps open new possibilities for future studies in this field, I think.
Thank you.